Star Wars fans were treated to their first look at the third and final season of The Bad Batch earlier this week, and despite being only 2 minutes long, there's a lot to unpack from it. The trailer kicks off with the Bad Batch on what appears to be Ryloth. There isn't anything definitive about this, but the landscape and architecture in the background did give me the same feeling as before. Vanessa Marshall, who returned to voice a young Hera Syndulla previously in the series, was also seen promoting the new trailer online, and while that could simply be goodwill in promoting the hard work of others, it gives me hope that we'll return to Ryloth and see Hera once again. In this opening clip of the trailer, we see the Bad Batch having assumedly stole a Juggernaut tank as their means of escape as they drive over a burning bridge. LAATs piloted by the new TK troopers descend upon them as they navigate a narrow ledge. There's a little bit of action, as Hunter is able to shake the boarding troopers off of the vehicle. Phee Genoa, voiced by Wanda Sykes, then makes her appearance as she arrives to give the clones a lift. The scene cuts before Wrecker can make it onto the ship, but I think we can all assume that he makes it. A small detail here that will probably go unnoticed by many is that other than Hunter and Wrecker, there's another clone on the ramp, one that looks a lot like Crosshair. So either this entire scene is a flashback, or Crosshair will reunite with the Bad Batch earlier than expected, as Lucasfilm is known for only using footage from the first few episodes in their trailers. The next clip shows us a ship making its way to what looks a lot like Coruscant, so something I'm really looking forward to there. This may signal the return of Senator Chuchi, who in Season 2 took it upon herself to push for increased rights for retired clone veterans. We see Rex and Hunter together, although whether they're inside the same ship is unclear. Rex's pauldron on his armor is gone, showing that we're getting closer and closer to where we see him later on in Rebels. As he talks about losing more men, we get 2 quick shots of smoke rising from the Teth Monastery and a crashed attack shuttle on an unknown planet. It looks to be agricultural, but it's hard to tell exactly where it is. The more interesting thing for me is that we'll be returning to Teth for the last season. It was where everything started with the Clone Wars movie back in 2008, and now 16 years later, we'll be going back as this full story comes to a close. We're then reminded of the pain we went through last season, when Tech fell to his presumed death. The next scene is another short and minimally important one, but it shows the Empire arriving in LAATs as what looks to be an occupational force, as the townfolk chaotically run around them. We then get our first look at Omega, rightfully downtrodden, as she's still imprisoned by the Empire on Tantus. She now has the Imperial cloner uniform on, and in the first clip we see of her it looks like she has a new haircut as well, so that scene may come later on in the season. Omega passes by Crosshair, who looks very rough. During this moment, Omega also has her normal hairstyle, so it would make sense for this to happen in the premiere more than likely, and then Crosshair is somehow able to get out, unless that previous scene with him in the Bad Batch does turn out to be a flashback, which, now that I think more about it, doesn't make much sense because Phee is there. We see Dr. Royce Hemlock once again, flanked by a few commandos, and although his line, "secure her in a cell," initially seems to point towards Omega, since she's in the following clip, I have a feeling that it's actually in reference to the other female doctor who was revealed to be Omega's sister. Perhaps something happens to Omega and she chooses to stick up for her instead of aligning with the Empire, and gets punished as a result. While we see Omega crouched up in what looks to be a vent overlooking the planet, Hunter remarks that Omega has been waiting for them for a long time, suggesting that Season 3 will have a sizable time jump from Season 2. There's a few other short clips before we see Emperor Palpatine, voiced by none other than Ian McDiarmid, along with Imperial Royal Guards, Republic Commandos, and Kaminoans. He states that there is nothing of greater importance to securing the future of this empire, which we can only assume is in reference to whatever is being done on Tantus. While nothing has been confirmed yet, cloning seems like the most likely scenario, which could have a role in either Thrawn's plan in the Mandoverse or Palpatine's eventual resurrection on Exegol. There's also a short look at what looks to be a new location this season, with spikes sticking out of the ground. It's not much, but it's a location that really stood out to me. We then get a look at a brand new Imperial soldier with a squad of stormtroopers. While it's a little hard to see exactly where they are, the tree in the background does really make me believe that it's Pabu, the peaceful island location introduced in Season 2. As for the new soldier, I've got another video hopefully coming out soon regarding who that could be, but the most likely scenario feels that it has to be Tech, who was recovered by the Empire after falling and turned into a Winter Soldier type of figure. The body type and the gear both look similar, so it just makes sense. We then see the Empire shooting down an attack shuttle, and while the darkness makes it difficult to tell who and where this exactly is, I really do think that it's an escape attempt by Omega to get away from Tantus, because later on we see her struggling in the same sort of cockpit as if she were about to crash, although it does look to be more day than night there. There's a few action shots of the Bad Batch doing what they do best, blowing stuff up, and then a short moment that caught my eye was where we see a gloved hand push a lever, and something about it screamed Martez sisters to me. They appeared previously in the series, And with it seeming like they're doing acts of rebellion in league with Ahsoka, it wouldn't be too far off for them to make another appearance. There's then a short moment of the Juggernaut from earlier firing rockets on the bridge, explaining why it looked like it was in flames from a distance. After a few shots of the Empire, we see the Bad Batch flying over a densely forested planet that I so want to be Kashyyyk, but probably not. We get confirmation that both Fennec Shand and Cad Bane will return in the final season, and then there's a close-up on a clone saying, "They are coming, for all of you." And while he looks to be a new character, the small bit of his armor that we do get does sadly resemble that of the mystery soldier previously shown, so it may just be a new character. The next clip shows that Wolf is still a part of the Empire at this point. We know that he eventually joins Rex in retirement away from the war, so hopefully we'll get to see that here. We then see Hunter what looks to be on Pabu, only adding to the previous theory of that being the same location. There's another shot of what looks to be the same clone from earlier that may be the mystery soldier, but while the armor is a similar color, the chestplate doesn't have the same design to it, so we'll have to wait and see there. There's some more action shots, Wrecker fighting with a crocodile, some new ship design flying on Teth, clones sporting either blue or purple armor. There's a shot with Hunter and Wrecker raising their blasters that also has Crosshair's rifle being held up, so it would appear that he has reunited with the group. There's a blue rhino creature attacking Imperials, some more shots of Tantus, Hunter hitching a ride on an LAAT, and then the big ending. Ventress arrives with her yellow lightsaber, although a closer look will show that it isn't the same hilt she found off the Black Market in Dark Disciple, but rather a more curved blade. An executive producer for this series has already come out and stated that her appearance in Season 3 will be faithful to Dark Disciple, so no retcons there. It's possible that she built a new lightsaber hilt, maybe got Dooku's and changed the color, or got her own lightsaber hilts back, meaning a potential Barriss Offee appearance is possible as well. During her screen time, there's also a blink and you'll miss it homage to the Dark Disciple art, and an unknown logo on her pauldron, which could give hints of what she's been up to at this point. Based off of her few lines of dialogue, it doesn't seem like she'll be an ally when she appears, but we'll have to wait and see there. A new poster for the third and final season was also revealed, featuring Hunter's clone helmet in a style reminiscent to the Clone Wars Season 7 finale, which is not pointing towards anything good for him. The release schedule for the season was also revealed, and it's worth paying attention to because it isn't your typical one episode per week schedule. The 3-episode premiere will take place on February 21st, with the episodes being titled Confined, Paths Unknown, and Shadows of Tantus. Episode 4, titled A Different Approach, will release the following Wednesday on February 28th. Episode 5, The Return, will release March 6th, and then both episodes 6 and 7, titled Infiltration and Extraction respectively, release March 13th. Episode 8, Bad Territory, releases March 20th. Episode 9, The Harbinger, releases March 27th. Episode 10, Identity Crisis, and Episode 11, Points of No Return, both release on April 3rd. Episode 12, Juggernaut, releases April 10th. April 17th sees the release of Episode 13, Into the Breach. Episode 14, Flash Strike, comes out April 24th. And then Episode 15, The Cavalry Has Arrived, concludes the series on May 1st. There's a few interesting things to note here. It's not unusual for there to be a 2-episode mid-season finale, which we also got with the second season of the show. But with this third season, we'll be getting 2-episode releases twice throughout the season, and neither of them is for the finale. The 3-episode premiere also makes me think that there's a reason they want this series to conclude by May the 4th. It feels like a quick turnaround to go ahead and announce another series or trailer, but if it's something that is set up by the Bad Batch, that would make the most sense. The title of the finale, The Cavalry Has Arrived, is also a nice touch, as it was the first line we ever heard the characters say when they were first introduced. Let me know how excited you are for this series in the comments below. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more Bad Batch coverage, and remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.